No, grand. Okay, so unfortunately, we've got a catastrophe. Twitter has gone down. I know, it's just heartbreaking. So what we've done is we've gone a little bit old school. You should have some pieces of paper. Do you remember what paper's like? Yeah, that's it. Papers and pens. So if you've got questions, you just write them down, and if you hand them over, Twitter's back. Twitter is back. Don't worry. You can still write down questions if you fancy it.
Or draw nice little pictures for me.
Or draw nice little pictures for Holly. So Twitter is going well. Liz, you're going to roam with that mic over there. So for everyone that hasn't already been to a Q&A session, the way it's going to go is we're going to have each of the candidates coming up in their positions. They get 30 seconds to tell you why you should vote for them and why they're the best candidate. Then we'll do some rounds of questioning, and every candidate can contest what's being said by someone else that's on the stage. So feel free, and there's 30 seconds to then respond. Everyone get it? Yay! Who just gave me a yay? That was really cool. It gets a bit boring up here. I might just start rapping like I did in union meeting. I won't, honestly. So first of all, we're going to start off with our city liaison officers. Can I see city liaison officers? Can I see? Oh, I got Alex. Yep, come up to the stage. And Disan, come on up and take a seat. A round of applause for our city liaison officers. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
Sit wherever you want. Sit in the middle, all right. There is in the middle, so maybe these two? Sit wherever you like. Who wants the microphone? Not me. Okay. So you're going to get 30 seconds to speak, and I will shout time when 30 seconds is up, okay? Yeah. Put the microphone first. All right. Okay? You can't speak until Joe says something, okay? So and then you've got to wait for Joe to just, and she'll tell you when to speak, and then I'll tell you when you've got to stop, so you get 30 seconds, okay? Okay?
Okay, so Holly, my glamorous assistant, is going to be timing us. Ladies and gents, if you want to come down, you're more than welcome. We've got some more seats, so you can come and join us if you don't want to stand. Just to let you know. So, we're just getting the timer up. Ready? Whenever you're ready. Have we got Disan with the mic? Yep, whenever you're ready, Disan. 30 seconds. Yeah.
Hello. Protocol observed. Yep. Protocol observed. So, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students and candidates contesting in respect of your offices, I warmly welcome you into this city campus. Anyway, my name's Dyson Butera. I'm a year 1 BA Youth Justice.
Sorry, Disan, that's all the time you've got, I'm afraid. It's just 30 seconds.
Right. Anyway, the reasons was...
Disan, sorry, can you just hand the mic over to Alex? You only get 30 seconds to speak. You'll get asked some more questions in a minute. Is that okay? You just have to hand over to Alex. I'm sorry.
You'll get another chance in a minute. Just sit down.
I would like to...
Okay. We'll give you another 30 seconds then, Disan.
Okay. All right. Yes. Anyway, there are mainly 4 points as to why I'm standing for this post. One of them is advocacy, or some people they say advocate. That is, speaking or representing fellow students in terms of their concerns to the different offices. So if at all fellow students may be having certain concerns in respect to their problems, I'll be the point of focus and I'll be able to deliver your concerns.
Sorry, Disan, I'm going to have to stop you again after 30 seconds.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you ever so much, Disan. Yeah, whenever you're ready, Alex.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I'm going for City Liaison as well. Basically, I want to improve how this building is used. I want to sort of put sports games on so people can come here rather than going to like pubs and stuff like around the area. I also want to work with VP Sports to improve the gym during the weekends, put on more not activities, like classes and stuff. And I also want more cash machines around the city side because it's really annoying when they run out of money during the weekend. Yeah.
Brilliant. Did you want another 30 seconds, Alex? You're okay. That's good. I have to offer it to you. Okay, so to start off with, this is a question for both of you. What do you think is the biggest thing that is troubling city students at the moment? You get 30 seconds to reply as well.
I think that it is because mainly the second and third years at the moment don't really use this building as they could do because it's not been here the whole time. So they just sort of go other places rather than coming here as like their main stop for like food and like just sitting and drinking and having fun with their friends.
Cool. Thank you.
Now, anyway, basically, I may say that students have a problem of, for instance, those students who are staying far away from our campus, for instance, students who are staying in Mountains. I think, anyway, even though they are having a bus which takes them there, but sometimes, of course, they may be having some delays accessing their lectures due to jam and the technical problems of the bus. So
time. Oops,
yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, dear Sam. Sorry, I've got to cut you off. Do we have any questions from the audience? No, I can't see. Oh, yeah, I see this gentleman. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Just sorry, can candidates come and speak on that pink mark? You're not going to get hit with like anything. It's not a target. When you're ready, question.
Do to improve transport links between Maltings and City?
Anyway, that will be in conjunction with the university staff and those concerned in order to improve such kind of problems. For instance, if the bus is injured, of course, the replacement may be done. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Sam. Did I see another question? Sorry. Oh, yeah. We'll go to middle.
How are you going to make sure you get another cash point when it's taken 8 months to get these ones working? The cash point. How are you going to make sure you get one when it's taken 8 months to get these ones working?
Oh, hang on. Do you want to grab the mic, Alex? Sorry.
Just more around like the city site in general, because when like obviously you can come in here, but when this is shut, there's obviously like Sainsbury's and there's one outside Bonington, but there's none like the other side of Newton. And I've lobbied the university and asked them whether they could help fund one, maybe put one in the library or something.
Okay, thank you. We had another question down at the front. Is that you, Shan?
This question is to both of you. There's been some criticism of the city liaison role, and some people think that's kind of a pointless role because it's where the exec are based anyway. What's your opinion on that, and how do you think your role is worthwhile?
Strong question. Very nice.
I think that obviously as a student you get more like as an opinion of what the city students are like doing rather than the like full-time exec who have to listen to everyone as a whole. As like just a city student, you can understand what people are saying. Like a lot of my manifesto points are what people have said to me, and that's why I've gone for them.
Anyway, for me, what I may say is, anyway, my points are advocacy, respect, love, and Oh, and security. So what I'm trying to say, I may say that we'll be working hand in hand with our security officers who are the site, fellow students, and the cabinet as well, in order to solve any kind of matters which may be arising at our site or campus.
Fantastic, some really interesting questions. Have we got any more from the floor? I can't look on Twitter, unfortunately. I think it's gone down again. Is that all we've got? Right. It was quite sweet for you guys. So thank you ever so much for our City Liaison Officers, the first lot to go through the grilling. That is the Q&As for Group A. Oh, I need to tell you who's next.
Put that there, and then they can get up and ask questions.
Next up, do we have our Mature Students Officer around? Dan? No. Katie, are you speaking on his behalf? No? No, Katie's not speaking on his behalf. Do we have our BME Student Officer? Yes, Paula, come up to the stage. Big round of applause for Paula. Oh, nice wobbles. We're just getting a stand for a mic, so bear with us. I'll leave that down so I can see everyone. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. What, the candidates? Yeah, okay.
It's only you, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Should I not hold it?
Hello? Yes, I should hold it really close to your mouth.
Okay, I'll try.
There you go. Okay, we're all ready. Tech is with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Paula, you've got 30 seconds to tell us why you're going to be a good BME Students Officer.
Okay. Hi, my name's Paula Macaulay, and I'm running for Black and Minority Ethnic Student Officer. You should vote for me because I'm aware of the issues that BME students at Nottingham Trent face. For example, raised awareness of special dates such as Black History Month. You should vote for me because I'm dedicated to improving the uni experience for BME students. You should vote for me because I'm passionate. You should vote for me because I'm the best option. You should vote Paula Macaulay for BME Student Officer.
Perfect on the timing there, Paula. Nicely done. Okay, does anyone have any questions for Paula you could think of?
Got a question here?
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
Obviously, BME encapsulates more than just Black or Asian students. What would you do, for example, to represent the views and support, for example, Chinese students or Indian students who obviously fit under that category as well, but may not have the same issues as Black students, for example?
I think firstly I need to try and understand what their issues are, so I'll probably try talk to them about what kind of things they would want as well. And obviously it's not just Black History Month, like stuff like Chinese New Year could be celebrated as well. So I think it's all about trying to bring everybody together, whereas rather than focusing on one specific area.
Good on the timing here, Paula. Cracking it. Have we got any more questions up for Paula? Yep, I see one at the back.
How would you go about trying to raise awareness of, the different, the struggles that Black and ethnic minority people have in the university?
Sorry, could you just repeat the question, please?
Do you want to hold the mic just a bit closer?
Okay. How would you go about trying to raise awareness of, the problems that we might have during university or?
I think, of course, with Black people as well, I'll try and try and understand what their issues are completely, because I'll try and understand their issues and try and work on their issues as well. And obviously I work with VP of Education and like all the other VPs. So I'd like take what I found to them, so that will raise awareness and they'll know what to do as well about different things, stuff like that.
Thank you, Paula. Do I see any more questions for Paula? Well, I think that'll be it for you then, Paula. Thank you ever so much. A big round of applause for Paula, our BME student officer candidates. Okay, next up, the last of our officer positions for this grouping, the women's student officer. Could I have the candidates for women's student officer come to the stage? Libby, I didn't know you had a late nomination. If you guys still want to use the paper, you can use paper to ask the questions if you don't want to stick your hand up just while Twitter's still going a bit crazy. Yeah, that's fine. Right, ladies, so you want to head up to the microphone for when you do your 30 seconds. Let's go with Jem first, and you get 30 seconds. So step up to the mic, you've got 30 seconds when you begin.
Hello? Hello? There we go. I'm very passionate about this position, and if elected, I'll put my all into being the best women's officer I can be. I have experience in being student officer as I'm currently the BME SO. I have an assembly next Tuesday. Please come along upstairs, 6 p.m. I genuinely want to make a change to the experience of students at Trent. I am Gem L, just empowering more ladies. However, I will not forget that we have partners in the struggle who deserve to be considered also. Simply that means, despite running for women's officer, I will not work towards anything that will disadvantage men.
Thanks, Jem. Sorry, my mic didn't work. Thanks, Jem. And next up, Lola. As soon as you start, we start timing.
Hi, I'm Lola Idris, and I want to be the future Women's Student Officer at Nottingham Trent. I feel that I'm suited for this role because I'm a dedicated, ambitious, and determined woman. I'm used to roles of responsibility in organisation as I'm currently a law buddy, and I really want to empower and unify all the women students in Nottingham Trent. So make the right choice for your future and vote Lola Idris.
Thank you ever so much, Lola. Right. So, do we have any questions for our women students officers on the floor? I don't see anything. Okie dokie. We've got one question that's been tabled, and this is for Lola. What is the glass ceiling?
Well, that's...
Head up to the mic, you got 30 seconds.
The glass ceiling is basically referring to when women want to go into the professional world and they feel like they can't reach the higher positions wherever they're working because men tend to be employed for those positions like due to maternity leave and pregnancy. So I just want the women students to realise that it can be overcome, and it's modern society and a lot of things are changing.
Okay, we've got a question for Jem as well. How do you feel you can improve the experience for all students whilst at university?
Sorry, I'm glad I got this question because it's what I was saying before. I'm not just for improving the experience for women at Trent, it's about all students, and any campaign I do, I'll make sure that I consider all students at Trent. And for example, if I'm doing anything about safety, it's not just about safety of women, but how men can also be safe in the same way that women can. I'm going to consider everyone, not both, because there's not just two genders. And so I'm going to consider that as women's officer, and that's why you should vote me. I'm not
Thanks, Jem. Trying to get a sneaky few more seconds. Do we have any questions from the floor for our women students officers? No, we had some good ones earlier today and some good ones yesterday, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you ever so much, ladies. It's been fantastic to have you on the stage. We'll see what happens in voting. So next up, we're going to have VP Education. Just can I remind everybody, if you have got pieces of paper, I can see people writing, so come down and then at least I've got them in a pile and I don't have to muddle through them when it gets later on in the stage. Just Amy might have some. Thanks. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Also, if you've got your questions as the Q&As are still going for that category, still do bring them up. There's not like a cut-off point for them. Obviously, the longer I have them here, the more I can filter them. Paper aeroplanes? No, someone will hit me in the eye. If you've got a good aim, then yeah, but just don't hit me on my head. Okay, right. VP Education and Representation. So we'll start off with Matthew. You've got 30 seconds to introduce yourself when you're ready.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. Hi guys, I'm Matthew Scrimshaw, or Scrimmers for Winners is my campaign name. I like to go for this ball as I want you to get your money's worth because you are paying a lot for this, £3,000 or £9,000 a year. So I'm going to put on more visual and audio lectures. I also want you to have the knowledge for when you leave university. I also have a wave of experience in authority positions, and I'm currently the VP of a sports club here, and I'm on the sports exec for the university. Yeah, just like you to the time. Thanks.
Cheers, Matthew. Thank you ever so much, Matthew. Let's go with Kat next. 30 seconds when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Kat. I want to be your new VP Education and Representation. I know I can succeed in this role after my experience as course rep, where I'm actively seeking changes for students and on placement last year. I want to give improved training for course reps, keep the new initiative of Feedback Week so we can learn about students' problems, improve communication between module leaders and work closely with all the execs to get issues dealt with as quickly as possible for students. I'm here to represent every student, so vote Kat.
Thank you, Kat. Let's go for... You're looking at me desperately there.
Right, hi guys, I'm Hitton. How many of you have thought you've not done as well as you would have expected on an exam? Show of hands. Right, okay. Well, what would you think about exam feedback? Would you be happy with it? Right. One of my manifesto points is to bring back exam feedback, as I think that many courses are very heavily based on exams. So if you think I'm the right candidate, vote me. HP for VP.
Ellis, when you're ready.
Hi everyone. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to deafen you all. I'm Ellis Devaney. So if you've ever felt that you're not receiving a £9,000 a year service, you should all expect the absolute best because that is what you're paying for. Have you ever felt your effort and grade just doesn't add up? I want to lobby for changes in the way that feedback is given to you all and to make lecturers accountable for marking that is unfair. I work closely with course and school reps promoting the fact they can voice anyone's feedback and it will be heard because at the end of the day, we're all here for a good degree. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much, candidates. Okay, so your first question, and this goes to all candidates. With the QAA, the Quality Assurance Audit, coming up in your year in office, what focus would you take it on and why do you feel that's important? What focus, sorry, let me rephrase that. What focus would you take on it? Is that right, Libby? What focus would you take on it and why do you feel that it's important? The QAA, Quality Assurance Audit. Hang on, let's just get Libby and Mike.
So the QAA, you have to write the student representation report, and in that are several topics around any focus that you want to look at to do with students in the university. So what topic would you write it on? It was on the job role spec online and everything.
Okay. Okay. No. Okay, so you can explain the audit if you want, Libby, but you can't give an example.
So the audit is kind of like an Ofsted for the university, so it's the most important thing that they do. Your job will be to write the student side of that, representing 27,000 students. It's, I think, about a 6,000 word report, and you do any topic to do with how the university working in partnership or working with students to improve their education. And you give examples, you find evidence to back up what you're saying, and it can be on anything you want.
Okay. Oh, Hitton's got the first one.
Right, okay. Basically, all the work that Libby's done this year with course reps, I'd probably focus it around that, because I think Libby's done a lot of work on it. And basically, if trying to get that structure in place, I think, would be handy, and showing to the QAA that we have a good course structure where our courses, the voice is heard of every course to the union. I think it'd make a good impression.
Thank you, Hitton. Okay. See.
I think I'd bring up around pass and fail rates within courses, because as a course rep, in the course committee meetings, we are given statistics as to how well students are doing compared to years before. We could also compare that to the feedback we've got from students during feedback week and from course reps. If it marries up, then that's good, then we're obviously doing something good. But if it doesn't, there's some kind of communication issue there.
I think I look at like the support you're getting from the university, so this could fall under like course reps or maybe like tutorials, because I know a lot of you feel like your tutorials are just a waste of time sometimes because you don't really do much in it. Like I've done like some team building skills, and I like it to be maybe more set around my course, or like you could, like a point of call for your tutors, and maybe for other things like I said, like with lectures, because then you're getting more support for your studies off them, and like just the feedback you get off them as well, like the feedback you get from your tutors and lecturers.
I'd write the report on career opportunities and how I want to train course reps so they can promote the events to students, speak to students about the career fairs, why they're so important, as the course reps are a student as well, so that we will be able to relate to students more than the lecturers would in influencing career opportunities. So I'll do it on that.
Okay, we're going to go for some individual questions now that have come from the floor, and I think I've seen one on Twitter. So the first one is for Ellis. I'm a course rep. I think training is enough at the moment. Why do you think more training is required?
I think it's required for the fact that I've gone round and spoke to students and know course reps that have told me that they don't do anything. I think that we need to introduce faculty reps to work alongside the course and school reps, because I feel like they are taking a lot on. There's over 900 course reps and only about 30 school reps. So introducing the faculty reps, I think it'll be for them to overlook the course reps and also support the school reps. So I think if I redo that structure, it'll all work. And anyway, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Oh, yeah, we can see a challenge. Hitton.
Ellis, instead of getting more course reps and more training, shouldn't you focus on trying to get the course reps to the training?
I didn't say more course reps, I said introduce faculty reps. Which are... Sorry.
Okay, just sorry, can't hear Ellis, go on.
So it's a bit of a different thing. I just know, the fact I've spoken to people that are course reps that say they don't turn up to the training, they don't do it. I think we need to get people that will do the job, basically, and that will attend the training courses. And I think this should be throughout the year, not just at the beginning.
Okay. Next one is for Hitton. Your role now is only VP Education, yet one of your manifesto points looks at underrepresented groups. Do you realise that this has been taken away from your role?
Yeah, I do realise it's been taken away from my role. Last week at the union meeting was when the whole structure got changed up. So basically, I'm not in charge of it. I think welfare is now, community is now in charge of it. But I still feel that every exec member should have something to do with looking after postgrad international and mature students as a whole.
Brilliant. Thank you. Do I see any questions on the floor? Libby?
Can I do individual ones for each?
Yep, that's fine. We'll do that now. Just explain what you're going to do first.
Okay, so I'm going to do an individual question for each person, for each candidate, just in the order that I've got it. It's not in a specific order. So Hitton first. You said you want individual feedback on all exam assessment. I've actually had several meetings around this, several ASQC meetings working on this, and it is not possible to have every single student receive feedback on all exams. You have all years doing it, remember, some write 2,000-3,000 word essays each in their exams. So that manifesto point, how would you like to change that? Because it's not possible.
Okay, what I would do then is, at the moment, all we have is a mark. So I think anything better than a mark would be beneficial. So what I'd do is looking at getting maybe papers back that we can, at least students can get an idea where they're going wrong, because at the moment, all they're getting is a mark.
Okay, Matt, you want to create the buddy system and make it wider across the university. There is already a mentoring scheme, so how is that going to be different? Yeah, you get mentors in other schools. The university set that up, and I think they pay for them, like student ambassadors. So how is that different from the buddy scheme?
I feel like the buddy scheme's like here for more things than just like your course. Like maybe for you could go to. I think it's like if you're not paid, obviously it'll look good on your CV for people. But they're also there for maybe like other factors such as social factor, like maybe like just for settling in. It can be done for freshers, and I was thinking of doing it for people on placement, so you could speak to people who have been on that placement, so you have more knowledge of getting into it, and also for freshers for just settling in, for like, because obviously it's a big step to come to university, and it is the course, and it is the social side as well.
Time. Thanks, Matthew.
Ellis, so you want to create more avenues to talk to the underrepresented groups. We don't get the numbers turn up to assemblies, and it's been like that for the last few years. So how can you actually hear those views? Because it's just the same officer every time otherwise.
Is this the same underrepresented groups that aren't in my job
Yeah, there's
description?
8 of them in total, and obviously you have to still listen to those views because they often have academic issues as well. But you get, some don't get any people turn up to assemblies, which we heard earlier, and that's been quite similar for the last few years. So we don't know that's going to necessarily change next year. So you've only got the same 8 people to always talk to. So how will you be able to talk to more people?
I think the other thing we can do is to find out why people don't turn up and try to figure out how we can sort that out. We need to make the fact that their voices are what makes this university run. It's their education, and for them to come to the meetings is so important. What we need to do is promote that fact, and that their voices need to be heard.
Kat, please clap. So other people have mentioned some development points on their manifesto. So these kind of things they could take to ASQC. At the moment, yours aren't necessarily ones that go through the formal meetings. They're more informal ones that you might have when you're having chats with deans or whoever. So give me an idea what you would take to ASQC. Can you give me a topic that you might take to ASQC?
Need to explain what ASQC is.
Okay. ASQC is second top academic meeting, chaired by the Pro-Vice Chancellor. At the beginning of the year, they will ask, what developments do we want to look on the rest of the year? And that would be your chance to say, this is my most important topic. I really want to discuss this later on in the year. So it's got all the deans in it, all the important people, and it's where, for example, I've taken the quality of feedback, and the quality of feedback you get, I've taken that this year. So what would you take?
I think the issue I would take to the meeting would be communication between module leaders. It seems to me that they don't seem to communicate very well. Often we have in the science school at Clifton, we have labs overlapping. So that means we have deadlines in at the same time. I think improve the communication between module leaders, and that would clear right up, and it mean a lot less stress for the students.
Yeah.
I can hear it. Does it work? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I made myself clear there. So the kind of things you take are more obvious quantity things that you can see change. Maybe not communication. You take that through a more informal route. So where I said like quality of feedback, it's something you can see change, something that the top level will have to work on, where they won't necessarily work on the module leader down to student. So at top level, what would you be taking?
Okay, I'm going to have to just ask for an answer from the candidates. Sorry.
I think coursework feedback still needs work. There's been a new form of coursework feedback implemented within the last couple of years, and I still think it needs tweaking so everyone knows exactly what's expected of them and how they can get that out of their coursework and submit it to get the best possible mark.
Thank you ever so much, candidates. I see another question from the front.
Okay. Network reps were introduced last year, and as they fall as a joint responsibility with VP Education and VP Community, you'll have a role in shaping these next year. Improvements to communication between reps and students is already assumed, so you don't need to mention what you do to improve communication, but what else do you think that you can do to improve the network reps and how they currently work?
No, they don't fall under you.
I'm going to not accept that question just purely because of the change of roles. Network reps won't fall under education. I can't hear, sorry. Okay, I retract that comment. They're still going to fall under. So again, the question is how you support, Katie, support network reps? Sorry, say your question again.
Basically, what will you do to improve network reps without mentioning how you'll improve communication links between them and students?
Okay, you got that? Okay, we'll start with Hiten. You look like you're ready to go.
What I would do, so network reps were introduced last year, so maybe the training structure, could probably keep introducing this and keep building on getting network reps. Obviously, it's going to take a few years to implement a good network structure and their training ability, but I think just small changes should do it at the moment and just keep implementing on that.
I think because network reps are still quite a new initiative, it's going to be to do with fairly regular updates to make sure what they're doing is exactly what we need them to do, and they know what they're doing and they're still happy in their role.
I think because it is actually a new thing, obviously the numbers of them will be quite low, so I'd like to maybe with the mentoring scheme, show the benefits of that, what benefits, and if you show the networks the benefits of that actual thing, they could actually expand in numbers and represent a lot more students outside, because obviously getting out to some students who live quite far away is quite difficult. So if we had a lot more of them to be there for everyone, then that would be just a beneficial thing.
Going on that point that they are a new thing, the best thing we could do is the feedback, see how it's working, see if there is a structure we need to do, see if there's any more that we need to do for it to work, and for it all to go on the CV if they do want to do that. And yeah, because it's a new thing, I think feedback is the first step to see if the thing's actually working.
Okay, do I see any more questions from the audience? We've got a couple. I'll go for the gentleman in the knitted jumper first. Then I'll come to you, don't worry. You both put your hands up at the same time.
My question, sorry everyone. My question is about video lectures. A few of you talked about that. And it seems there might actually be issues with this, such as some lecturers maybe not wanting their content online because it could potentially fall onto YouTube or something. Sorry, my question's to do with video lectures, because I know a few of you mentioned introducing them. I was just wondering, because obviously the issues with that, with kind of the video lectures being online and then falling into, I don't know, the public domain, and then essentially they're getting a resource they're not paying for. And then also there's issues with then students not having any motivation to actually turn up to lectures because they can just watch them online.
One of the points of mine is that it's for revision purposes, so it will be released maybe like second, third term just for that, so that would maintain the numbers for the whole entire year before that. And also in the law school we've seen that it is actually that numbers have been maintained. And also if to do with like the getting on going to like public, I'd like work with maybe the ICT department or something like that, just to like make sure there are settings and protections on it, so there's no way it can be taken from the Now system onto maybe YouTube or something like that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Matthew.
What I'd look at, there are two options. Firstly, we could sort out some like copyright issues to avoid that happening, and also another point is we could look at only having them on Now and not available to download, so you have to watch them on Now.
Video lectures are not on my manifesto, but if thousands of students do want this to happen, I will consider this issue. The collective student voice is more powerful, so if students do want this to happen, I can run a campaign which hopefully the Vice Chancellors will listen to and take note of and lead a campaign to make a change.
Video lectures also aren't on my manifesto, and there's a reason for that. I have already taken this issue to my course committee as a course rep, and so I've put it to the staff and I've heard their feedback and I've heard the practicality issues and why it hasn't been implemented in the School of Science yet. Saying that, I know it has been implemented in other places. I'd be interested in finding out how exactly they've gone about that. But also, if it were implemented, they wouldn't be available until after the lecture, so hopefully that would still be an incentive for students to attend the lectures.
Thank you, candidates. There was a gentleman back at the back.
Hey guys, I was just wondering, which is your favorite Ninja Turtle and why?
What was that? Sorry, can I hear that?
Which is the favorite Ninja Turtle?
So, which is your favorite Ninja Turtle and why? Go on, Alice.
It's got to be Raphael, man. But easy answer. It's got to be his top dog.
He's top dog.
I'd have to say Michelangelo. I always thought he had the best name.
I remember one week went out for Ocean dressed as a Ninja Turtle, and I was Rafa, and that's what everyone was calling me the entire night with my little team of Ninja Turtles.
I'm not well, I wasn't really a follower. Sorry everyone. I didn't really follow Ninja Turtles. I was more into Pokemon, but I did once dress up as the blue one, so I'm not really sure what his name is. Does anyone know? Leonardo, that's the one. But him.
Good question from the back. Caught them all off guard. Right, okay, did I see one more question at the front? I'll go with Katie. Oh, it's a battle. Well, okay, she'll go after you, Liz. You go first.
Okay, this is to Kat. In your manifesto, you say that you think exec are just like a face on a screen or in a guide. I disagree with that. I think some weeks I speak to about 500 students through like society assemblies, training, RAG committees, volunteer committees, hall committees. I kind of want to know why you think we're only that, and also if you can kind of do it better to me and speak to more students as well as still doing the rest of your job.
I understand where you're coming from. I mean, I am talking specifically about the education and representation role. I personally met Libby at one of the open days last year, but the students I've spoken to on my course, I'll say, who is the current VP Education and Representation? And they just don't know. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Oh, But to improve that, I would want to try and get out there more often. A lot of updates are done in the student newsletter, but I want to do specific emails to students just from myself.
Can I, yeah, don't worry, I know you're going to contest it. Can I just ask the audience just to not kind of haggle or make too much noise, because it does sound a lot when you're on the stage. I don't know if it is just you or if it is people up the back, but it is quite loud, so just keep it down, especially when people are talking. You've got 30 seconds, it's quite difficult to concentrate if you've got people kind of mooing or whatever you're doing. It just sounds a bit weird from where I am, so I don't know what it's like up there. So I'll go on and take the challenge from Matthew.
I just think like Libby has done an amazing job. Like I have seen her out and about, so like getting feedback from the students. I just think like like looking at her timetable, like she is a very busy person. So would you be able to do that better? Meet all the deans and everything, and then still be able to like get out a lot more often, because you're not going to be out every single day seeing students.
Response.
I appreciate what you're saying completely. I didn't say Libby wasn't doing a very good job. I mean, obviously she is, because she's been successful all year. Sorry, what was the second half of your challenge?
Just about like, would you be able to like manage the time, like seeing everyone and then being able to see the students?
I understand that you've bumped into her in the city, but because I'm based at Clifton, I can't remember having bumped into her wandering around campus. I do understand the time constraints of having a very busy timetable. I have had experience of managing time from having a full-time job on placement last year.
Time.
Oh,
Thanks,
okay.
Kat. Okay, thank you ever so much. I see Katie, and then we'll go for more questions.
Okay. This year is the first year that the Employability Award has had a place in the remit of an executive officer. Why do you think this is a valuable award to have, and how do you feel that you could help increase the levels of participation on this award?
Shall I read it again? I'll read it.
Read it again, yeah.
The whole thing.
Sorry.
The first part, I'll read it all again. Okay. This year is the first year that the Employability Award has had a place in the remit of an executive officer. Why do you think this is a valuable award to have, and how do you feel that you could help increase the levels of participation on this award?
Go on then, hit Dan.
What I think it's important to get this promoted out there, because basically it's students' voice and lecturers' voice to get recognised lecturers that they think they've done well. And I think if lecturers are recognised and that happens, then it's a good thing. And basically lecturers are going to be basically happy about it. There's not much. Sorry, that's about it.
Okay. Thanks, Hitan. Ellis, I'll go with you.
Repeat the question again. Well, obviously, it's useful to have because you've got it on your CV. So having an employability award is good for anyone. To promote it, again, it's the use of course reps, faculty reps, school reps, for them to be the voice of the students and to communicate between lecturers and students, to be able to promote that and say how important it is.
And then, go. Matthew?
You say how you're going to promote it, sorry. In the yeah, I know it's like been said before, but like if you could just like get it around to all the different students, like the benefits of this award, like if it's for a lecturer in mind that they want to give it to, like how good it would look if that lecturer won, like they'd be able to, if people looked in on this and saw they've got like these lecturers who are winning these awards from us, then I think it would increase the amount of people that wanted to go into that school and like wanted that lecturer to teach them.
And then, yes.
The Employability Award is obviously an excellent opportunity for students to get something that looks amazing on their CV. To promote it, I think it should be mentioned during induction week when course reps are voted for by the students, it should also be mentioned that this is an opportunity that they have to work towards. The deadline is around this term and the beginning of next term, but if people are thinking about it from the very first week of first term, then they're going to be more relaxed about getting everything done so they can complete it and have it on their CV.
Okay, I've got one more sorry, I'll go with Libby first and then I'll come down to the front.
So this is for Kat. You're a course rep at Clifton. I've had 3 course rep forums, so you would have been invited. You didn't come to them. And I was on Clifton campus, obviously, with all my course reps.
So I need a question in that, Libby.
Yeah. Have you been to a course rep forum and why not?
Okay. It's fine.
I haven't been to a course rep forum. I have been to course committee meetings. We have 2 of those per term, one to give student feedback and one to hear how the feedback has been handled by the staff. I am a 3rd year. I know it's not a very good excuse, but obviously I am working hard with my studies, and they are on Wednesdays, which aren't always the best opportunity. So I do appreciate that you've been to Clifton campus, but sometimes these things just don't fit in with my studying timetable.
Thank you so much. We had a question down at the front. We just get a mic to you and then you can head off.
My question's for Ellis. How do you expect to make lecturers more accountable when things are already mediated both internally and externally? And surely the lecturers are the ones that know the topic.
So what was the last bit of your question? Sorry.
So they know the topic. The lecturers know the topic, and the coursework is both mediated internally and externally to be checked so that they're marking correctly.
Okay, basically what I want to add anonymous feedback. Basically my point is that people that feel that marking is unfair, I know it's something that the Pro Vice Chancellor wants to look into implementing, so it's realistic towards, it's basically just anonymous feedback, so you don't feel like your mark is unfair because of who you are. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Okay. Sorry, there was a question that was down at the front. This was the question, sorry, I was aiming for this young lady. Sorry. It's all right, no worries.
What personal characteristics, like in yourself, can you bring to the job, like excluding like your manifestos and the policies? What can you personally bring to this role?
And that's to all candidates. All candidates.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic. We'll start off with Kat. We've not started yet, and you keep going forward. Whenever you're ready, Kat.
As I said in my introductory speech, I was on placement last year, so I've had the experience of having a full-time job and handling it fine. So if I were to get into this role, I could hit the ground running, and I could literally just pick up where Libby's left off.
Let's go with Matthew next.
Like I said in my opening speech, I've got experience as well, especially in authoritative positions, being the VP of trampolining here, and also being on the sports exec for individual sports. I'm also like a very relatable person and friendly person, so I'm hoping like people would feel they can always come up to me if they saw me wandering around. I'm also quite confident and also very like well spoken, so I'm hoping that would benefit like if I had to put my point across in like if I was meeting a dean and they were disagreeing with the point that I was trying to put across. Thanks.
Let's go, Ellis.
Well, I started at this university as a mature student, and in my time here I've done 2 different degrees. I've seen the negatives and positives and what needs to be changed to make the educational opportunity better for all students. I'm hardworking, I'm a great listener, a great talker, I listen to everyone's ideas, and I get self-satisfaction in helping others.
Thank you. I've got another, oh sorry.
I'd say there are 2 key factors which need to be discussed. Time management and people skills. Looking at Libby's schedule this year, time management is very key, and I think I've got that from being on a committee. And also people skills, I think I've got people skills. Yeah.
Okay, I've got one that's come through, and this is to Hitton. Okay, To quote your manifesto directly, you will lobby the development of Clifton campus. Lobby means campaigning to influence or change. You are now, however, saying you'll keep students updated. To clarify, are you lobbying or are you publicising a bi-weekly newsletter?
Firstly, it started off with lobbying, but obviously after hearing at the Clifton Q&A earlier, Libby said there's not much I can do to change that now. So what I will do is have this newsletter or some sort of review or feedback for the students on how everything is going.
Thank you ever so much. Do I see any more questions? I see another one from Katie.
Okay, one last question.
My question's for Ellis. On your manifesto, you said you want to introduce more avenues to make students' voices heard. Where do you think these avenues can be introduced, and why do you think they might not have already been implemented?
Again, it comes back to communication with the course reps, school reps to the students. I feel that if I introduce faculty reps to help that structure, it'll be a lot better for the communication. And sorry, what was the last bit of your question? I think it's just basically I've been going around talking to the students, saying how they feel, and they've been telling me their views. They're telling me that they don't know who their course reps are, they don't know where to go if they have got a problem or feel like they can't. They don't really complain about things, they will just moan about it and don't do anything about it. So I want to try and...
Thanks, Ellis. Sorry, extra time. Okay, did I see any more questions for the education officers? No. Okay then, education, we're going to leave your grilling there. Thank you ever so much. Congratulations of getting through your Q&A sessions. Where's Laurie's one gone? No, it was Laurie. Oh, can we have the VPs of sports? I was about to go. Oh, I've got pins and needles. Oh, just in this interim, just want to let you know, if you put any names of candidates or names of people generally, maybe not generally, you could put like Bob in it or something, I don't know. If you've got names of candidates, they won't get stuck up on the screen. Is that right? Yeah, it won't get put up on the screen. You can do it to ask a candidate a question. Elections, Amy? To ask a question is okay, but not general. Vote Joe Blogs for VP of the year. Right, sports. VP Cabbages. Right, we ready? I can't see everybody. That's it, lean back. Joking, don't, you might fall off. So let's start off with Nathan. 30 seconds, off you go.
Hi everyone, I'm Nathan. I've worked for the uni for 2 years as a gym instructor whilst doing my degree, and I've represented the uni at Bucks for 3 years, which I feel gives me a good understanding of what's realistic and what's unrealistic. I just want to make small, constructive changes that can be achieved to NTU sport. Cheers.
Let's go with Laurie.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming tonight. I'm Laurie Cook and I've been Trent Rugby president now for 2 years. I want to make some changes to the NTU branding of varsity by reintroducing the season ticket, and also to promote more first aid courses and coaching courses for students just after uni and also while they're still here.
Thank you, Laurie. Let's go with Tom next.
Hi guys, I'm Tom Mannion. I've been the social second events organiser of volleyball for 2 years. I've been the sports exec for 1 year, and I believe that 3 things can be improved over the next year, which are students having more of a say in things like tour and sports ball through their presidents, getting more people involved with sport in general through New to Sport, and greater celebration of sporting achievement through making more people aware through a newsletter sent to presidents of sports societies and hall managers.
Let's go with Jess.
Hi guys, sport's been a major part of my life here at Trent. I've taken on numerous roles since starting. Vice President of Netball, I've been a new sport ambassador since the programme first began. And for the last 2 years I've been working as a University Netball Officer both here at Uni of for England Netball. So I've been balancing my studies and these 3 roles all my entire time at Trent, and I'd love to be able to continue that hard work for you to make sure everyone's involved in sport.
Let's go with Ezra.
Hi guys, I'm Ezra. I've been hugely involved in sport now for 4 years at Trent, not just in my own sport, but getting to know other people on other committees and the committee in general. I'm looking to spread awareness of all sports at the uni and in the local area. I'm also looking to increase the New to Sport programme, offer free termly sessions for each sport, and help committees with drop-in sessions for one-on-ones, whole committees, and help committees get kid sponsors next year.
And then, okay, so let's go to questions.
Oh.
Joking, you can go.
Hi guys, my name's Paddy, I'm the current VP Sports and I'm running for it again. As a show of hands, how many of you went to a varsity fixture this year? How many of you thought it was sick? Yes. Okay, well one of the things I want to do is increase promotion, increase the number of events so more money gets raised for charity as well. I also aim to increase the promotional opportunities for all the other sports clubs that are running events and that sort of thing throughout the year, so they know how to do ticketing, that sort of thing, so they can raise more money and raise the profile of their own events. Thank you very much.
Thank you ever so much. Okay, I've got a question, and this goes out to all candidates, but bear with me because I can't read it that well. So, the new SU could have opened up a massive opportunity for performance sports to showcase its talent, but currently hasn't, and it's asking for hundreds in exchange for the space. Is this something that bothers you, and what would you be able to do about it? Basically using the SU venue for sports and clubs holding performances or showcases. Okay, got it? Go, Paddy.
Next Wednesday is the official opening of the Student Union with Lord Sebastian Coe coming, and they're doing loads of showcases around what the NTSU sport offers in terms of scholarships and that sort of thing, and they're doing that throughout the whole City SU. Unfortunately, the things like the High Performance Centre and the Lee Westwood Sports Centre has already been established, and the aim of the City Students' Union is to improve participation throughout students in city campuses, so hopefully that's increased opportunities there. Performance athletes are always...
Thanks, Paddy. Let's go with Tom.
This is actually already on my manifesto. By performance, do you mean performance such as dance, cheer, dance? Okay. So by performance, I've heard that they were pole dance were going to be charged £900 to actually host their show here. I would lobby to make it cheaper because as they need to represent, the Students' Union should represent the students, and if they can't host their events here, then why should they host it anywhere else? I was looking into doing what Forum currently does, which is where it hosts the event at the start of one of their nights, so in the Students' Union case, Climax. They've already...
Time. Sorry, Tom. Thank you. Let's go, Laurie.
Obviously, we got a big sports hall in there, which obviously we see everyone playing like indoor football and stuff like that. If we could incorporate indoor football, badminton with also people like dance, pole dancing, burlesque, stuff like that, then it would be great if we could hold some events in there, also in here as like a whole day or a whole night sort of event sort of planning.
Let's go, Nathan.
Yeah, I think we've got to utilise the facilities as well as we can. Like Laurie said, really use that sports hall as well as we can. Obviously, cheerleading, dance, pole. This as well, to be honest. Anyone who came to darts is in here. Magnificent night, good stage to have shows for dance and pole and stuff. So I just help to utilise this space as much as possible.
Ezra?
Okay, so obviously this is the first year with this new venue, so obviously there's been limitations on a lot of things. So next year I will look at using all this space, both the sports hall and this area in here, because we see how much we appreciate it when the pole girls do their show in Forum, when dance and cheer do the events of varsity. So I'll just look at using all this space, helping the Students' Union raise money through them, and then helping RAG raise money at the same time when the event's on.
Jess?
I recently, a few weeks ago, actually put on an event here with the Student Union, and it proved really well that we can link sport with things such as charity and all that sort of thing. So like we had netball going on in the sports hall, we had the doors open, we had cake sales, all sorts going on here. So I think it'd be a case of trying to link the SU together with sport to try and get more festivals, more events going on that can have the performances and both sport and like together involved.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, so I've got some more specific questions that have come through. First of all, Paddy, why do you want to do the position again, and how will you improve on this year?
Yeah, so obviously I've enjoyed the job, which is an obvious reason of why I want to do it again. I think it's potentially a two-year job to do, and I think going through into your second year, you can make way more improvements. There's none of this kind of having to cushion into the role. I think as well the role at the minute is very operational. I don't have expertise in booking venues, booking referees and that sort of thing. And I think it's about getting out there, talking to students, getting them excited about organising events and that sort of thing.
Time. Thanks, Paddy. Okay, this one goes to Laurie. How would you increase both attendance and viewing spectacles of the varsity events?
Well, one of my main point in my manifesto is I want to increase the branding of varsity. So this would include reintroducing the season ticket. So students would save money on the big four events: rugby union, football, basketball, ice hockey. But also the smaller events would get massive promotion, because if you've got the season ticket, then you may as well go to all the events. Also, a contingency plan is a massive thing. So, like with American football, if there's a problem, if we had something as a backup plan, then we can just crack on with it again and reintroduce it again.
Time. Thank you, Laurie.
Joe, can I challenge?
Yeah, you can challenge.
I just want to say that one of the reasons why the varsity season ticket's been taken out is due to the budgeting of each individual event and trying to understand where all the income's coming from. And the plan is, regardless of whether they get re-elected or not, is to reintroduce the season ticket next year anyway.
You can comment if you want to, Laurie, or you can leave it. Okay? That's fine, it's not to worry. Ow! Okay, a question to all candidates. Yes, I did. How can you, as VP Sports, work closer with the halls committees to increase participation within halls and first-year students? Okay, we'll start off with Tom.
Okay, I've actually spoken to New to Sport, and although they are getting their funding cut this year, they are applying for new funding elsewhere, and they were interested in working with halls committees in order to get more people in sport with events such as rugby sevens for a day, or maybe a league over the year for football or netball, just to get more people involved. And with the committee, with the halls committee promoting it, more people should get involved.
Let's go with Ezra.
Okay, this year I was a sports rep during Freshers Week, and I noticed how much that got people down to Saturday antics, getting involved in sport, getting into their trial sessions. So I propose, for sports rep, look at them being a volunteer for the whole year. So if they commit to their halls, look at them, obviously they've come through for a sports club, so they stay with their halls and they keep pushing this inter-hall, intramural sport. So all year there's got someone who's a senior person in a sport trying to keep this running, maybe even becoming a president and organiser of the sport. So it just builds awareness throughout the year, not just at the start.
Jess?
I think to build on what Ezra's just said, the sports reps, I mean, I was a sports rep this year, and in terms of training, it was quite a basic training, and there wasn't enough about what we need to do to sort of get everyone rallied around. I mean, I know we had a Battle of the Blues day, and that kind of flopped massively, and I think stronger training for sports rep and maybe get other clubs involved as well will help build it all together and like build it up to make sure we get a good turnout to all the events we put on.
Nathan?
Yeah, I think the sports reps are critical, but not just freshers. I think everyone, for me, to re-engage people with sport throughout the year. And a big one for me is I did say about Saturday antics. I would like to see that run again just after Christmas. I think January is a massive window to get people back into sport. If sports clubs could get at least 3 more members, that's 3 more members to your sports club. That's a little bit more resources, a little bit more money going into your club. So that's certainly what I'd look at anyway. Thank you.
The challenge. Yeah, I see a challenge from Paddy.
Sorry, I keep challenging people today. I was just wondering, because it was definitely something that I was looking into this year with regards to doing another Saturday Antics, but how would that be viable running it in January when the grass is completely wet, the pitches are frozen, it's raining, it's terrible weather, it's freezing?
Well, probably could have looked into it a little bit harder. I think you got to really, if you're working with the sports department, you've got to. It's cold when you do it in October, so it's going to be cold in January. But I'm sure they would be keen to get the pitches sorted so we could do Saturday Antics again, even if it was indoors, just to get more membership, giving them opportunity to do anything, badminton, dodgeball, whatever it will be, to re-engage people, and obviously increase that sports membership. I think the sports department would be up for that. I genuinely do.
Yeah, go Laurie.
Another point of my manifesto is to improve the promotion of Wednesday fixtures for Bucks teams. At the end of the day, I know we've got the game of the week, but if we actually create an event with every fixture available on Clifton or around the Clifton area, I know some teams play off campus, but if we could create an event and actually post it on Facebook groups, on Twitter and stuff like that, at least people, if they're sitting in their flats on a Wednesday, they can get up, go and just watch a game of rugby, a game of football, netball, anything. Like, there's plenty available to watch. Just go and do it, sort of thing, if it's there promoted properly.
Paddy.
Could you just repeat the question, please?
No. I've put it down. Sorry. I don't know what one I asked you. Oh, halls committees. Yeah, sorry. So how can you as VP Sports work closer with halls committees to increase participation within halls and first year students?
Well, one of the things we're already implementing with the halls coordinator is to have a sports rep forum, which is actually happening on Thursday, to kind of engage ideas that people have already implemented. At the minute, there's been a dodgeball event that's been run by the sports halls reps, and that's been really successful, and it's just about kind of keeping that going. It's a really new, fresh thing to have sports halls reps, and I think it's just going to improve anyway.
Okay, I see loads of questions. Okay, okay, so I'm going to go with Chris first, and then we'll go over to Jem.
Hello. I'm part of rugby union, so obviously I was one of the people affected by the fact varsity was cancelled this year. And I can categorically say, obviously everyone knows that's not our fault in any way whatsoever. It's University of Nottingham's fault because someone did a poo in a sink in the end. And I just think it's massively unfair that varsity was cancelled for people like me and my final year who now can't play. And especially for people like women's rugby, who that's their chance to play in front of such a big crowd, that more wasn't done to sort of battle them in that, because they had the option of obviously losing Bucks points or cancelling varsity, and obviously they're always going to cancel varsity. Now, if that was to happen again, their safe fallback is just to cancel varsity. So what can you do in the future, this applies to anyone, if that were to happen again, to stop that happening?
Okay. Oh, wow, okay. I'm going to go for Tom, just because he was the only one that didn't get up.
I would say that you can't really stop their students' union from cancelling varsity, but what we could do is maybe speak to other sports teams from around the area. So if we could maybe get someone like Loughborough or Derby or someone who's roughly equal to your rugby union team's skill, and get them to come and do like basically a pseudo varsity instead. Just so there's still the same event, there's still the same spectacle. Women's rugby still get their like large crowd, but it just won't be against the University of Nottingham because it's not our fault that they've been banned. So why are we being punished?
Thanks, Tom. Let's go with Laurie. Do you want to challenge? Go on then, challenge.
One of the biggest issues, it was something that we suggested maybe playing against Birmingham or something like that, but unfortunately they wouldn't be able to bring any supporters with them, so the supporting half, there'd be no uni offside, there'd be no Birmingham side because the buses would be too expensive. So how would that be viable to have like Derby or Birmingham play there?
Response?
Well, when we go to Explosion, I mean, we got quite a good crowd this year, and that was at Birmingham. So if we do hype it up, if we do get it promoted, then people will come down to watch us, and people will come down from their university as well. Hopefully, if their rugby union and their AU or SU promote it, they will get people down.
We're challenging a challenge now. I'll go for a challenge of a challenge.
I don't see why it has to be Derby or Birmingham. Why you knew that it was cancelled. We knew ages ago that was cancelled. So I don't know why Nottingham Rugby Club use our facilities, why we couldn't have sorted something out with Nottingham Rugby Club. I'd have loved to see a rugby league versus rugby union. Let's have Nottingham Outlaws against rugby union. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a bit of fun with it. So, what's the worst someone can say? Like I said earlier, they can say no. You just try again.
Okay. Paddy, would you like to respond to your challenge? Are you all right? No? Okay. Was anyone else wanting to challenge that challenge? No, we're all done with challenging challenges. Awesome. Okay, Laurie.
Basically what Nathan just said, we've been trying to work with your president and captain to get a rugby league versus rugby union game. Obviously, it'd be easy for fans to come and watch, and it'd actually be quite a good spectacle because it is a bit of a rivalry between the two of us in like the whole Bucks fixture sort of thing, Bucks point sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, there are alternatives out there, and hopefully we will get one sorted for this year.
Cool.
I think the varsity fixture is a massive big thing in the student union, and it raises a lot of money for charity. One of the things that I definitely want to do when we're building relationships with Uni of Nottingham is work on preserving the varsity series to not be used as a punishment and only be used as a last resort. I think it's really important to keep the big events like rugby union because it really builds a community within the university.
Fantastic. Jess?
I think with this issue, it was kind of slightly out of our hands in that we were battling against another student union and another department that they had to put some sort of thing in force. But I think instead of just disheartening it and thinking, oh, that's it, I think we need to look at other options and then promote them as widely as possible and get as many supporters in, because at the end of the day, the money's for charity.
Okay. Ezra?
Okay, so yeah, I'd really just push back first against Uni of, like, we're not their underdogs. We give them a good game every year, so we shouldn't be pushed over. So make them lose their books points. If we don't back down as a sports department, they have to. But then my main point on my manifesto is to increase awareness in the local area and get us involved with other sports. So this could be playing Nottingham Uni's development side, or just having a big 3-day, having American football, rugby league, rugby union, all down on one day. Still be able to fill out Meadow Lane, and just get a big day out of it so we fill the stadium and have the atmosphere
Thank you, Ezra. And we've just got Nathan left. Yeah? Nathan?
I mean, it's difficult to have a contingency plan for someone pooing in a sink, like you say, but I think if you can get on it early enough, and you know early enough, then you've got to fill that fixture. You know, it's for charity. Let's sell tickets. Everyone loves to see a rugby game. It sells good tickets. So I think the main thing is just work tirelessly to fill that fixture. Make sure someone can play.
Thank you. Okay, there was a question that was next to Chris. I'll go to Jem first.
My question is, are you more concerned about improving sport for those who currently do sport, or are you more concerned about engaging more people in sport?
Sorry? Yes, you can start if you'd like.
I think it's always, I know this is going to be me sitting on the fence a little bit, but I think it's always good to have a mixture of the two. I think it's about improving the clubs that already exist, as well as promoting what's out there to freshers as they're incoming. There's a 3-year turnaround, so at the end of the day, you want to get those sports reps trained up as much as possible so they can get in recruiting freshers in to join the sports clubs.
Let's go, Laurie.
I think it's a case that you can't do one without the other. Promoting and getting sport more out there for students that aren't playing a sport at the moment improves the clubs. Like, as I said, I've never played rugby league before I came to this uni, but I hope the boys will back me up that I did help improve the club by coming to it. So it's the sort of thing that if you promote it to freshers, new sports that they've never played before, then it will improve the clubs at the current standard as well.
Tom?
I also believe it's both, but I do think that a focus on getting more people involved with sport is important, only because teams who are already in place, who have a lot of experience anyway, if you get more people into them, they can train them up and improve them themselves internally. So it's kind of a one leads to the other, as said by Laurie.
Go Nathan.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit of a mundane answer, but it is both. I want to know why 21,000 people aren't participating in sport at this university, so that's a massive thing. But at the same time, if we're going to be a sporting uni, we've got to be high up on the bucks table, so there's got to be a balance there, and I would like to look at both sides of the scale, like I've said in my manifesto.
Jess?
I think it's about finding a good balance of the two, to be honest, because those that are playing sport are going to play sport whether you stop them or not. But also those that are starting at participation level, there's a lot of people that come into uni that have either never played a certain sport before. There's a lot of sports here that people don't play in schools that we need to get them into. And at the end of the day, those that are playing at participation level, they're bringing more money into your clubs, and they could potentially be the ones playing your Bucks teams in the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so obviously the uni likes to focus on the Bucks points, but no matter how big or small a club is here, all the way up from football and down to dodgeball and volleyball, they need people coming in from the grassroots. So this is why we use trials, we use taste sessions, and I would also look at doing a refreshers week in January. Like Nate said with the Saturday Antics, but a full week of more trials, more taste sessions, getting more grassroots people in, even second years, third years, so every sport can have the opportunity to build their participations.
Fantastic. See a question. I'll go with Matthew first, and then.
I was just wondering, like, how do you plan to utilise the sports exec next year? Like, maybe use them a lot more, because some people have said like they're not used enough. And like, how are you going to increase the communication between them and the presidents that are underneath them?
Let's start with Jess.
I think maybe get the sports exec out there a bit more into the committee meetings, into training sessions, and find out what they actually need, like listening to the clubs to find out what the clubs want from them and what they can do for them. And yeah, maybe more promotion of what their roles are to the clubs so that they can know when and how they need to use them.
Whenever you can. Let's go, Nathan.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just keeping in contact with the committees and making sure that you're answering their emails, that they're using you and you're giving them constructive feedback. I just think that the key thing for that is, again, committee training, and they should know when they take on the role that they're meant to work in liaison with the VP of Sport. So just keep in contact with them.
Paddy?
I think at the minute the sports exec have been as interactive as they have been ever. One idea that I've got is to potentially have a president's forum for all the categories that come under that specific sports execs. They've kind of got their face out there. They are the representative for that category of sport, and people know who they are and people know who to contact.
Thanks. Ezra?
Okay, so obviously the sports VP couldn't survive without the sports exec for all the indoor, the outdoor, the big and small sports. But also, like I said, I want to help committees on a one-to-one level. I'd also want to work with my sports exec on a one-to-one level. So this isn't in my 9 to 5 time. This is outside of my time. Just me and you just talk about not just what you should be achieving, but like what you want to achieve in your role. Because at the end of the day, something for your CV is something you want to do the best at.
Laurie?
Again, this sort of comes into one of my points in my manifesto. I want greater integration between the sports department and the SU. And we could utilise the sports exec as a middleman sort of thing. So any issues that they find with a group of people in a club, they could come to me and come to the sports department. So when I'm going to meetings on a Monday morning sort of thing, I can address all these issues.
Thank you. Tom?
So, I believe that actually, like, maybe reinforcing to the committees that the sports exec are there is more important, because they are supposed to be middlemen between the sports committees and the VP Sports, but a lot of committees just go straight to VP Sports. But, if the sports exec are well briefed, they'll be able to answer your questions rather than going straight to VP Sport. Also, one of my things is to do a newsletter. If you want to get it known that you've made an achievement, so for example, dodgeball recently won the Northern Championship, I believe. If they tell the sports exec about that, they can promote it, they can get it wider known, they can make it more. There we go.
Thanks, Tom. I've not missed anyone out, so I can't see everyone. Okay, I'm just going to go for questions down at the front first, because we're quite short on time now.
Yeah, this is for Nathan. You want a better distribution and organisation of ocean tickets. As far as I'm aware, they're already based on numbers, how big the clubs are or societies are, and also based on how many they sell each week, so they look back at that. So how else would you make that better?
Okay, to do the ocean tickets, I'm literally going on what people have told me, with clubs saying they get 2 books one week, 3 books next week, 1 book. Some have been taken away from certain clubs. They've not been there sometimes this year. So for me, I just obviously make sure that the ocean tickets are available to each club every week, and basically a specific time they can pick them up, and they're just organised better.
Thanks, Nathan. I can't see whether Tom, you're challenging or not. Yeah, I'll take a challenge from Tom first.
Okay, so the main thing is that there are actually a limited amount of books. Andy, the owner of Ocean, does only give us, I think it's 1,000 books per week. Some teams get more tickets because they are bigger. Some teams get less tickets because they're smaller. We already offered the chance to lower tickets from 20 to 10, but that wasn't accepted. And we also tried to, get it so that the teams got more books at important dates. So there's first few weeks of each term, Christmas, Halloween. However,
Thanks, sorry, Tom. Paddy, Nathan, did you want to respond to that? No. Paddy, did you want to challenge Nathan as well? No. Are you happy? You just said the same thing. That's okay. See another question. I'm going to go for this gentleman at the front first. No. No.
This is for all candidates. It's with regard to football being banned from tour this year. Obviously, people that didn't go on tour with football that's in this year now were banned as well, and the incoming freshers. Do you think that it was a fair punishment? And what would you do in the future to make sure it don't happen again? Like to the people that can't go, that did do nothing wrong.
Good question. Okay, we'll start off with Ezra.
Okay, so obviously with freshers coming in, this is a point, like, I've not heard much about it or been involved in it, but I would have thought this is a point you could put to the exec, like, say you're not involved, say you've just come in, like, your first payment tour is early in the year, like before you've even committed to a sport, before you could have even known about this. So I would have thought, like, talk about it early rather than later. If the president or the committee had let them know this was the case, should have sorted it out there. And for the people who are seniors, they were involved on the committee even if they didn't go. So at the same time, they're part of the club. We've got to take it.
Time. Thanks, Ezra. Laurie?
It's quite a difficult point. Like in my first year, rugby league got banned from getting ocean tickets and from the HPC because of an issue that happened on a Wednesday. It's so hard to pick and choose who was there and who wasn't, just because there's so many people out or there's so many people on tour. But it's, as Ezra's already pointed out, it's all about communication. If people are honest, then you won't get as punished as everyone else does. So obviously people who weren't there, as you said, you freshers, they can still go on tour. They might still have the opportunity to go on tour.
Okay, I'll go Tom.
This isn't going to make me any friends, but to be honest, if the club did it, they've got to be punished for it. And you ripped seats off buses, mate. Like, no, not you specifically, but the men's team. So if you do something like that, you do need to be punished. And if that's the only way to do it, you can still go, but you just have to go as another team, and you can't go as one large group.
No.
Okay.
Okay, Paddy?
Last year, well this year even, men's football got made an example out of, and I think it's important to express to all clubs that they're representing their entire club, not just themselves. You're representing your university when you go on tour, you're representing your university when you go to a fixture on a Wednesday, and whatever behaviour you're doing on behalf of your university, you're doing it wearing your badge, and you deserve to get punished for it at the end of the day. And if you're letting your friends down, then I think that's a much bigger punishment than just letting yourself down.
Thanks, Paddy. Nathan?
I know you didn't.
It's a difficult one. I feel it's unfair for the freshers and those that weren't responsible. You shouldn't really tarnish everyone with the same brush. But then at the same time, I think it's a good thing because you're setting the boundaries. And to be honest, when those that did it are long gone, the freshers that remembered it will hopefully tell everyone below them, like, this is a no-go, don't do it. If you want them to go on tour next year, we can't do this, and hopefully that will just iron it out a little bit.
Thank you ever so much, candidates. I just want to add in a point of clarification. Oh, there's a challenge. Oh, sorry, Jess. Sorry, I can't see everyone. Jess, go on. Off you go.
I think it was completely fair that they've been banned, to be honest, because their behaviour was unacceptable, and they all signed a contract before leaving saying that they weren't going to do all this stuff. You represented the university, you're representing your club, and you're not just doing it in England, you're doing it overseas. So you're tarnishing the name of the club, and to be honest, those players that did it, they should also then feel responsible for the fact that you're not able to go this year, and to the freshers that aren't able to go.
Thank you. Sorry, Jess, I didn't mean to leave you out. No one else? Okay. Yeah, just a point of clarification for football. You can't join other clubs to go on tour. I just want to put as a point of clarification. Sorry, Tom, just in case anyone thinks that's going to happen. Okay, I'll go for another question, and that's Katie. Please.
I'm going to get this one all messed up a bit. Right. This one's for Jess. So sports tour is commonly associated with drinking and social activity. In your manifesto, you state that you want to make the trip more about sports. This is a big change to make, as a lot of the current behaviour is ingrained in not only the culture of Trent, but the culture of other universities as well. How would you ensure that if more sporting opportunities were provided on tour, they just wouldn't become a waste of your time and energy planning them?
I think it kind of starts right at the beginning before people even book onto tour. I mean, a lot of when the word of mouth around tour goes around, it's all about the drinking and the nightlife. And like, there are players in these clubs that don't want all of that. They do actually want to go abroad and play sport. And I think you need to get your committees and those that are promoting tour to the freshers and to the new players that actually there's more to it than just going over there to drink every night and go out and.
Challenge?
At the minute, I know a lot of the tour companies at the minute are kind of revolved a little bit more around the partying than necessarily the playing sports. But a lot of sports, well, not a lot of sports clubs at Trent specifically, but some sports clubs at Trent still do take part in sports whilst going on tour. I know women's rugby have, I know cheerleading have, I know lacrosse have. So that's already happens. If it's there, then you can have it. So yeah.
Did you want to respond, Jess?
No, I think that's a fair point. I just think it needs, like, again, the choice is there for people. They just need to know that they don't have to participate in all of what's there.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to go with one last thing because I know that we've been quite pushing sports. One more question. This is to all candidates. Would you rather live in a world where there are huge friendly gummy bears walking around, or live in a world where there are hoverboards? Hoverboards. Okay. Off you go, Laurie. We'll go down the line.
To be fair, I'd probably choose the gummy bears because they're pretty nice to eat, but I also like a cutch now and again, so happy days.
Ezra.
It's got to be the hoverboards. I mean, we've all seen Back to the Future. It looks so sick, and it should have already happened. And also, gummy bears, you'd just be tempted to eat them. You make a friend and eat him. That's not right. No right.
Jess.
I'm going to have to go for the hoverboards. You'd get everywhere so much quicker. And also, gummy bears, VP Sports, they make you fat.
Paddy.
I'd have to go with gummy bears because I've got a massive sweet tooth, and my mum still says I'm a growing boy, even though I don't think I am anymore. But yeah.
Nathan.
I'm terrible on a skateboard, so I'm going to have to go with the gummy bears as well, even though everyone will probably end up with diabetes if gummy bears are everywhere.
And Tom.
I'd have to go with the hoverboards, funny because giant gummy bears, I don't know if you ever looked at them, but that would be pretty horrific. I can't imagine that would be very nice to look at. And also, they probably melt quite easily. So if you're walking around in summer and there's just giant piles of goo, wouldn't be too nice, to be honest.
Brilliant, thank you. Can I hear a huge round of applause for our VP Sport candidates on their grilling? Thank you ever so much. Then lastly, we've got our VP community, so come and make it to the stage, please. Could have had 101 more questions with that, but it's 8 o'clock already. I know. I hate them.
You know the drill, don't you? You know the drill. We got this.
Okay, so we'll just wait for. Oh, bye campaigners, bye candidates. Letting the side down. Laurie's still here, Paddy's still here, Matthew's still here. Yes, I said you, Paddy. Lola, Paul, Ezra, Chantel, Nathan, Jem, Tom. I'm going up and down. I'm up and down. Kat, Lizzie, Alex, Suki. I get confused. Naz. Naz, Suki, Naz. Hitan is still here. Got Matthew. I've now said Matthew 3 times. I've got to go all over again. Joking, I'm not going to. I said you all once. That's enough. Right. Gentlemen, you're here, I'm here. Give us 30 seconds of why you should be the next VP Community. When you're ready.
Hi, so my name's Josh, also known as that guy on the horse. I've got several big points that I want to change this year at Trent. First off, I want to get student buses on your venue nights out. So you go out, maybe Climax, get a bus right back to your door for a low monetary fee. I want to increase awareness of mental health massively because I don't think it's big enough right now. And for web chat support, I want to implement that at Trent so you can sit in your bed and type out any questions to Trent and have them answer for you straight away. So stay fresh, vote Josh for community.
Thank you. Laurie, when you're ready.
Can we bring it up?
Difference between sports.
Ready?
When you're ready.
Hey guys, my name is Laurie, and I'm not that guy on a horse. Simply because this is full-time paid job, and it's a serious job that requires skill and experience. And I'm taking it seriously. If you look at my manifesto, I've got quite a few good points that I know can be achieved and will benefit all our students. Thank you. Vote me, you're number 1.
Thank you ever so much. Do we see any questions from the audience? Oh, sorry, did you want to challenge? Yes, you can. Josh, challenge it.
I like how Laurie says that I'm not taking it quite seriously, but as you see by all my campaigners here, I've got quite a few, so I'm definitely taking it very seriously. If you listen to my manifesto points as you have over the last 2 days, you'll find that I've got some brilliant things that are going to be happening next year.
Okay. Remind the crowd to stay settled. Laurie, would you like to respond to that? You can respond.
He has quite a few campaigners. However, those campaigners not going to work for him next year. They can't do his job. And I was going to say, he is taking it seriously and has quite a few good manifesto points, which I would probably take on as well if I get voted in. I just wanted to make a point that maybe a candidate that's topless in his campaign should not represent the union nationally. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you ever so much, candidates. Okay, we've got 3 questions. I'm going to go to the young lady right at the end first, because I know you had your hand up before and I didn't answer you.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you, sorry, for Josh, you said you were going to increase awareness for mental health, and I was wondering if you could elaborate a bit more on that.
Well, obviously this year we've had Mental Health Awareness Week, but I don't think that quite goes as far. I'd like to create a specific campaign to run over quite a lengthy period of time at Trent in order to highlight the issues that we have with mental health as students and, you know, as young people. Also, I answered a question at Brackenhurst yesterday, which would say that I would incorporate volunteering with that. So I would bring volunteering into that and allow volunteers to go out into the community and work with young people on mental health issues that they may have.
Thank you, Josh. Sorry, where were the other questions? I'll go Katie first and then Liz.
Oh, thank you. This is for Josh. I just wanted to know why it's important for you personally to... I just want to know why it's important for you to achieve your goal of getting gender-neutral toilets.
So gender-neutral toilets are a part of my manifesto. Basically, I've spoken to members of the LBGT community, and they've told me that they would like one set of gender-neutral toilets. It's not something I'd want to roll out across Trent, and I'd only put it in sort of the feeling out stage to see if Trent wanted that. But especially transgender students who have to use the disabled toilets, it makes them feel disabled because they have to use those toilets. So why not have maybe the possibility, put it out there to Trent to see if that's what we want as a university.
Thank you, Josh. Laurie, challenging. Go on, Laurie.
Also, I'm in support to any minorities. However, if you lobby university to make gender-neutral toilets, that's going to cost a fortune. I think there's a lot of better suggestions, for example, microwaves in NTU buildings that will cost a lot less, a lot more realistic, and will benefit not just minority, but everyone in this room. Thank you.
Thank you. You can respond to that, Josh. Oh, yeah.
I'm not quite sure what microwaves have to do with gender-neutral toilets. I certainly wouldn't put microwaves in gender-neutral toilets. But it wouldn't actually cost that much to do. We basically renovate an existing set of toilets. This has been proven to work very well. In Sheffield alone, they've had an 80% approval rate for these gender-neutral toilets, and they're considering rolling them out all across campus up there. That's not what I'd want to do, but it is something that Trent students may want, and what students all over the country have asked for.
Thank you. You can challenge that again. Why not?
I just want to make a point that we are business and we operate as business. So we have to consider benefit per pound. And let's face it, there are better ideas and better things we can spend our money on that will benefit more students and welcome more students to our university.
Thank you. Yep, you can respond to that challenge.
Well, you talk about benefits per pound. I mean, what I wanted to do was put it out there for Trent students to, one, see if it can be done cheaply and effectively, and two, why does it have to be that it may be slightly expensive to do this? Why do we not have to consider these students? They are students at Trent, of course. Transgender students are students like anyone else, so why can we not take into their consideration the same as what you want to do with microwaves?
Okay. I'm going to pause the discussion there because I think there's more juicy stuff that's about to come out. I'll take Liz first, and then we'll go over to Matthew, and then to Jen.
I know, Laurie, you've mentioned, and many other people campaigning have mentioned, offering volunteers incentives. In my opinion, if you actually incentivise volunteering, then you may as well be like paying them to do it. So seeing as you guys will be the figurehead of volunteering, what do you think about giving volunteers incentives to volunteer?
Well, first of all, we do a lot of volunteering that is like fundraising. I'm not really a massive supporter of fundraising. I think if we bring volunteering that is, you feel just good for doing it, so it can be a lot more than just fundraising. You can help elderly, you can help sick people, many other things you can do that just benefit you as a person.
You can clarify that. Hello. I'm not talking about fundraising volunteering. I'm talking about what you mean, like volunteering in the community, so maybe helping the elderly or the disabled. So what I'm asking is, do you think you should be incentivising people who might be going into the community to volunteer, or people who might be being a course rep and volunteering? Do you think that's right?
When people talk about incentivizing volunteering, I think that volunteering should have a positive effect on your life and obviously on your CV and things that you get from Trent, say the Leadership Awards, the Skills Awards. But I don't think it should be anything financial. I don't think we should pay volunteers. Why should we? Volunteering is about giving up your time for the good of other people and for the good of the university. Incentivizing it just turns it into something that it's not.
Thank you. Okay, I'll go to Matthew for the next question. Oh, did I miss you?
This is for Laurie. You say about it being a business, but your role is to actually represent these groups, which is like obviously Josh's point about the gender-neutral toilets. Obviously, he's trying to represent these groups. So are you saying you're going to choose it like being a business and the profit over an actual like your role as representing these groups?
No, I wasn't suggesting that. I was just saying that we need to plan wisely. We need to spend money so it benefits majority of students. You can't just throw shitloads of, loads of money into something that benefits only a few. It's a lot better if you can utilize the money we have to improve everyone's welfare.
You can challenge that, Josh.
You talk about throwing money at things that only benefit a few, so could you tell me then why we have disabled ramps when only a few of our students are actually disabled? Why did we pay for those to be put in? I'll tell you why, because we wanted to represent that group and because we wanted to make all Trent students equal amongst everybody and amongst all their peers. Gender neutral toilets are something that Trent may want, and that's why I wanted to put it out there.
Okay. Thank you ever so much. I'll just go back to the gentleman at the back and then we'll come forward. Sorry, Liz, make you run around.
So wait, all right, lads. I'm looking for a bit of creativity here. If a penguin walked in right now wearing a sombrero, why would you think he was here, and what do you think he would say to you? Why would you think the penguin was here, and what do you think he would say to you?
I know.
Okay, penguin in a sombrero.
Because you wanted to see the best student union in the country.
What would he say to me, you say? I think that penguin would walk in and he'd spy me and he'd say, Josh, you have a damn sexy t-shirt on. You're a cool mofo. I'll vote for you.
I don't know if we can say that. Okay, go back down to the front. We'll go to Libby and Katie. I don't know who wants to go first.
Oh, sorry. This is for Josh. You said you want more involvement of minority groups. Other than saying I want better communication, because that's what seems to be said all the time, what does that actually mean?
By more involvement, I mean that they need to be better promoted. I feel that the LGBT societies, the black minority societies, obviously other than communication, I feel that they should be putting on more events, that they should be integrating more with the Trent Society, very much that they go off and do their own thing throughout the union, which is fine, but I don't feel that they are, better. Obviously, in terms of communication, I don't feel they're better represented enough. And I think that there's a lot that we can do, and we can work really well with these societies to really promote them throughout Trent.
Thank you. Go to Katie.
This one's to Laurie. On your manifesto, you said that you wanted to introduce a housing accreditation scheme. How do you think that this would affect our relationship with UPP?
Well, first of all, I would like to focus on letting agents and landlords. Because if, let's say, you got a landlord that's not even Unipol registered, you can't even make a complaint at the moment. By bringing in the system, it will allow students to avoid the bad landlords, simple as that. And also, what I want is to create healthy competition between landlords to drive the quality of our accommodation higher. Also, the same system can be used to educate our students how to do proper house hunting and what to look for when they do it.
Thank you. Okay, do we see, I saw, was it Chris first? I'll go with Chris.
To Laurie, you said in your manifesto about introducing microwaves and kettles into university buildings, but that sort of runs de facto with the fact that you're supposed to be running things like healthy eating campaigns, and all you're offering students there is the opportunity to either eat a pot noodle or make a microwave meal. So I'm just wondering how those two run in correlation with each other.
Well, one of the key things of having microwaves and kettles is also to reduce general costs for students. If you can bring your own food, your own lunch, you don't need to spend money on food, which is always simple. Secondly, what I want to initially to do at buildings that open 24/7 or till late, when at that time you cannot get any other food apart from takeaway. So you're better off bringing your own food than getting a takeaway. It's a lot healthy option.
I see a challenge from Josh.
So you've kind of gone on, didn't really answer the question, but you kind of gone on about microwaves and things like that. But one of my main issues with that point for you is that if obviously I'm up for putting microwaves in, but it does in the way that you want it to do, take away from the Students' Union. One of your points is to increase the food and to get more people buying food from the Student Union. But how are you going to do that? By encouraging people to use the microwaves to cook their own food instead of buying Trent meals, which would, of course, take away from the Student Union and going back into students and what we can do to help students with that money.
Well, let's face it, you pay £9 grand a year. You put accommodation prices increasing. If you're saving some money, I'm up for it. Because I think as a student union, we need to look into welfare of our students, and by saving you money, that's one of the big things. Obviously, it will kind of compete with NTU food and NTSU, but then we all benefiting you at the same time as well.
Okay, thank you ever so much. Katie? Question.
This one's to Josh. If you manage to get a night bus, do you feel that taking students to their door will add a lot of extra time onto the end of the journey and eventually become less preferable to a taxi service? And also, do you feel that this could raise an issue in terms of safety with people knowing where other people live?
I've actually gone around and spoken to students about this, and I've said that if we worked out the routes properly, then it wouldn't actually, lose a lot of time on the end of the night for students. They much prefer to save the money and spend a little more time on the bus than they would to sit in a taxi and be completely ripped off by some taxis that, some of them can be, a little dodgy in terms of the pricing. On top of that, in terms of safety and knowing where students live, well, a lot of the students at Trent do know where each other live, and it's a lot safer sometimes than walking home.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, I'll take Libby's question. Oh, sorry, Jem. Sorry.
My question's for Josh. Just to go on what you said before about disability ramps, I'm pretty sure it's a legal requirement to have accessibility, whereas gender-neutral toilets aren't a legal requirement. I'm not saying we shouldn't have them. I just thought I'd point them out. Because the point I'm trying to make is you've talked about also underrepresented students, which obviously me going for women's officer, that's important as well. But what are you going to do that's going to benefit all students? What's your main point that you want to do to benefit all students and not just, LGBT or underrepresented?
Like I said, it was one of my main points. I do want to create more health campaigns for students to focus on a different issue each month to build on the system that Katie has provided with us this year. I want to build on that, create some more events. Obviously, we've had things like the charity dodgeball, that sort of thing. I want to build on that and really push that out to students and get all the students involved in all of the different events that are going through the university.
Thank you, Josh. I'll go with Katie first, and then. Oh, I said Katie first, but.
It's all right, I don't mind. You've both said you want to do campaigns, and that's great. Campaigns are great, and we always say them. But what does that actually mean to you? More than just sitting on a stand giving out a flyer, can you give me one example of an activity you'd run in a campaign?
Well, I think as a student union, we're not really a political student union. Being part-time officer, I've noticed that we're not getting really involved with many things that are nationally a big issue. And that's why in my manifesto I put support for campaign, as we can provide workshops and materials for our students that have issues to campaign for whatever they feel is right. And that can be creating new campaigns, that could be taking part in already existing campaigns nationally or locally.
Thank you. Okay.
One campaign that I did have in mind in terms of healthy eating was to book out this space right here and to have lots of different stalls which will give Trent students a taste of healthy food that they can cook at home themselves without having to buy ready meals, without having to go to the store and buy chips and just throw them in the oven, stuff that's quick and easy to provide, all in a circle all around here, so Trent students could just walk from one to the other and eat their fill, as it were.
I'll take Katie's question.
This one's to both of you. We've been getting increasing complaints from residents about house parties that are happening around, like, kind of Burn Street and that sort of way, and they happen all over town, and obviously it's not a good thing because everyone's getting annoyed. How will you work with external communities and organisations to change this?
Obviously, in regards to house parties and loud noise in Burn Street, it is about working with the local police to make sure that we keep a lid on those sorts of things. Obviously, lots of residents around the area would get quite annoyed at that. It would be about talking to the police and saying, look, guys, we know that there's students in the area. Can you maybe run a campaign in terms of that for a month just to make sure that students don't annoy the residents too much, like we do in Freshers Week with the halls, and just keep the noise down past a certain level?
I think it's important to educate our students to make sure they know what the laws are and regulations. Another thing, police are having a campaign for student safety, where they looking after student accommodations, areas. I think if we lobby council to combine that with also providing some sort of educational materials for our students at the same time as when they're patrolling.
Thanks, Zori. I'll go to the last question from the floor, which is Liz.
Hiya. Yesterday I asked you a question about volunteering, and I think it might have stumped you guys a little bit. Neither of you have actually mentioned volunteering in your manifestos. However, volunteering is going to be 50% of your role. I kind of wanted to know, since you should have maybe gone away after yesterday and done a bit of research, do you know what volunteering NTSU provides? And also, what are you guys going to bring to volunteering in NTSU? And I'm talking about volunteering, not fundraising.
I'll be completely honest. I do not have full knowledge of NTSU volunteering, and however, I would disagree that it's 50% of the job. I think there's a few other strong issues we need to target, and something like representation, which I think is a huge issue right now and should be a huge part of the role. Otherwise, I just got to say there's ways to improve volunteering through less fundraising, which we should leave more to RAC side, and just improve more community volunteering.
I am aware of what happens in regards to NTSU volunteering. One of my friends, Iona, is involved with the system. Every Saturday she goes over and helps disadvantaged children around Nottingham. So I am aware of the sorts of things that students do. She goes through NTSU to do this, and she does help out quite a lot. She says she absolutely loves it. And to answer your point, yes, I'm quite aware of the things that go on.
Thank you ever so much. Right, unfortunately, we are massively getting over time, so I've got one last question. This is to both candidates. How many ball bearings can you get in a Boeing 747? 1 inch diameter.
I would say that you could get 700,047 ball bearings in a Boeing 747.
Thank you. The seriousness on their faces.
No idea. I'll say 1.
1?
1 will do.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum. Well, that is a Q&A session. Can you challenge? Yes, technically you can challenge that.
So a Boeing 747 is you know, it's quite a bit. It's bigger than this building, in fact. And a ball bearing is how big is a ball bearing? It's
1 inch diameter.
1 inch diameter. So I think you're a bit off with your estimations there, mate. If you can only fit one, unless it's a massive ball bearing.
You can respond.
How many?
No, let Laurie respond.
You should not have ball bearings on a plane. I think it's a security issue.
Okay, so that's the responses. So thank you ever so much, ladies and gents. Give a round of applause to the VP communities for their grilling today. Remember, we've got more Q&A sessions on Thursday. Check out the website and keep on tweeting. Thanks a lot, guys. And girls and non-binary, gender, transgender and trans-neutral